when we look outwardly looking at wider BP, we want to kind of make sure people understand we've gone way beyond sort of that, just that back office support kind of thing into really truly being a core part of delivering value for BP. And I think what then was important for us is that that's where we started from day one. So from day one, we came into it with the plan that we would use India for that sort of innovation and digital capability that it has existed.
Molly, this emergence of India as a serious GCC hub, why do you think that has happened? Is it primarily talent, or is there more? What is your sort of perspective on this?
So I think it's talent, and I think it's scale. So it's talent at scale, right? So again, you can do a lot of what you're doing in small pockets all over in multiple locations. India allows you to bring it all together. I think there is a lot of willingness and openness within, the governments, the businesses, the services in India to really engage, to develop things. So I think that mindset that you have within India also really enables sort of that innovation that GCC space could really bring for any business.
Hi Molly, thanks so much for doing this with us today. You've had a rather interesting journey from the Caribbean all the way to India. Take us through that and how you got into the GCC space in the first place.
Okay, thanks for having me. It's definitely a pleasure contributing to the discussions today. So I guess, growing up, so I've always been interested in things like science and technology, even as a child. Both my father and my brother are into sciences, engineers. And so I sort of followed a little bit in that footprint and, studied in the Caribbean and started my career in the Caribbean. And Trinidad and Tobago, where I'm from, we have a very strong oil and gas background there. And that's the field and the sector that I've worked on my entire career. What's also interesting about Trinidad, really and truly, is that probably just about half of our population is of Indian descent. So I've always had, to some extent, some familiarity with, the traditions and the customs of India. And back in probably late 2018, early 2019, I got an opportunity to look at, coming to India to work. And I guess what struck me was like, I'm familiar enough, probably a bit overconfident about how much I knew about India at the time. But so that sort of brought me in. So BP basically has an upstream business based out of Mumbai, and I sort of came across to support some of the projects that we have there. And while kind of working there in interactions that I've had across the industry, I've always been impressed by the capability, the scale, again, India is just like so vibrant. There's a lot of energy. So we talk about producing energy for BP, and India sort of naturally has that as humans too, sort of that human energy. And so I spent about 4 years kind of helping to support our upstream business in Mumbai. And as we continue to mature our evaluation of kind of getting into the GCC space from an engineering perspective, I was like, hey, this is something, I really feel very motivated by, very invigorated by. And it was something that I sort of stepped up and said, I want to do this. I want to be able to kind of get this up and running for us in BP.
It is a very interesting space indeed. Like, not till so long back, GCCs were looked at as back offices and cost centers, right? Now they've really evolved into innovation hubs and such. Tell us a little bit, Molly, about how you see that journey, how that evolution has sort of happened.
Yeah. And I think we have started at a good point in time because, again, as you say, it literally is in that pivot period. And I think it's a good thing. So the challenge that we probably have is that we are trying to sort of break that bias. So when we look outwardly looking at wider BP, we want to kind of make sure people understand we've gone way beyond sort of that, just that back office support kind of thing into really truly being a core part of delivering value for BP. And I think what then was important for us is that that's where we started from day one. So from day one, we came into it with the plan that we would use India for that sort of innovation and digital capability that it has existed. So it's a vital part of us being able to transform all our businesses and add value.
There's also this thing one keeps coming across, Molly, that some people take offense to the term GCC. You know what I mean?
Yes.
They're like, no, this is our office. This is our India office.
Correct.
Right? Yeah. How do you sort of look at that?
Yeah. And a bit of I would say lots of conversations we've had, and we've sort of changed the name several times in terms of how we started. So when we first started, we were talking about this again as sort of business services. We evolve into sort of a business and technology center, but really how we describe it is BP, we've had different centers across the world where we basically just provide services that is almost like, co-located to then spread out for the rest of the world. And so now we talk about it as one of our third hubs. So we have a core technical hub in Houston, one in Sunbury, and now for us in BP, Pune is our third location. So it is equivalent to what we do across the rest of our sort of hub centers.
Right. And when we talk about tech and innovation, any sort of standout examples from India that you can think of at the moment?
Yeah. So I think the one of the biggest benefits that we see sort of in the space in India is that for BP, we are able to bring together what we would have been traditionally doing as sort of core engineering sitting in one location. And we would have had like a lot of our digital technology R&D sitting in other locations. What we've tried to do in India is sort of bring it all together. So it allows us to be able to actually take day problems, operational day-to-day problems, and find these solutions through technology, digital, etc. And so, like, for example, what we've done, so the good and the bad of sort of the oil and gas industry, so it's high risk, but we actually have a lot of data to help us understand that risk. And without the use of things like technology, one, we've been able to sort of, on a global scale, take people away from the direct operational risk site as much as possible. And we do that through kind of gathering the right amount of data. But the data can be overwhelming. Because think about getting like data over thousands of, different points, and you're getting that every second. Okay? So what a lot of what we've been doing is saying, okay, I can now take using things like AI, using things like, just sort of digitalizing and making access to data. I could also now look at it from different perspectives because we all trained to look at data in one way, right? X versus Y, A versus B. Using AI now and kind of that unbiased view and looking at actions and history over long periods of time, we can now look to see different trends to then predict, for example, when we do maintenance, what is the right time? So how do we prevent having unplanned shutdowns of our facilities and being able to sort of get ahead of the game and predict that, do the right level of maintenance, so then you reduce the amount of times that you can shut down, right? So a lot of it is how then do we optimize all our facilities and activities to be up and running all of the time. So that's just one of the cases, lots more that I can sort of offer up, in terms of how we're using technology. It's helped us in exploration space. So where do we go? So even if you look at India, and you look at the opportunity, so India sort of opened up a lot of its acreage for oil and gas, right? We have to choose. You can't go everywhere. We use a lot of like digital and AI technology to help us look at all the data that's available
And there's so
from
much
the
of it, like you
government.
said.
Correct. There's a lot of data, we look across all of that data. It helps us to focus as to where we, from BP, from our global expertise, think we'll have the best chances of being able to find oil and gas. So it's really, really, I think, changed the game using digital and technology now, and including AI to really improve what we do.
And when we talk about AI, Molly, there's so much noise out there, right? I want to ask you personally, what is it about AI that excites you the most, and what is it that kind of scares you the most?
Yeah. So I'll start positive on what excites me the most. So again, I think it's because for me, it is that out of the box thinking, right? So often how we are, we are trained, we use track record, right? But we don't know what we don't know. And what AI helps to do is AI starts to look way beyond what each or any of us has the capacity to look at.
Correct.
Bring a lot of that together and then give you insights that could be kind of, much different from things that you've ever thought of. And I've seen examples of that happen with some of our engineers.
Sure.
So I think that's what it is. It's really that out of the box, something different is some of the big value that you have. Now, what scares me is it has to be trained. Otherwise, it can tell you anything.
Yeah.
Right? So, a lot of it, people are scared about AI taking over all jobs. I don't think it is. I think it's about how we as humans think about how we work with AI to then get to the next level of transformation, to get to the next level of efficiency, to add more value to our business, etc. But it should come based on the knowledge. We also have to really think strongly about how it then fits into things like data privacy, into cybersecurity, because it could go any and every way if you sort of leave it on its own. And so these are the things I think we just need to have almost that governance and sort of background that goes with AI. But it is something I think that we all need to make sure and get comfortable with the journey and see how we work with it versus work against it.
Sure. And Molly, this emergence of India as a serious GCC hub, why do you think that has happened? Is it primarily talent, or is there more? What is your sort of perspective on this?
So I think it's talent and I think it's skill. So it's talent at scale, right? So again, you can do a lot of what you're doing in small pockets all over in multiple locations. India allows you to bring it all together. I think there is a lot of willingness and openness within, the governments, the businesses, the services in India to really engage, to develop things. So I think that mindset that you have within India also really enables sort of that innovation that GCC space could really bring for any business.
Sure. And if you could tell us a little bit about your plans to, strengthen or scale talent from India, what does that look like?
Yes, I mean, so our journey, so I guess if I look at it, so from a BP perspective, we are looking at 3 or 4 different areas that we are developing in the GCC space. The area that I look after is just one of them. But where we started, so where my journey started and the part of the organization that I support in engineering, we've actually only been actively bringing people into the organization for probably about the last sort of 15 months. So pretty young in it. I think we've been able to rapidly scale to just about 500 and we continue to grow that. And we do it as the ecosystem of India. So we will have key partnerships that we will be working with others. So every time we talk to our organization about scaling across India, we talk about it as that entire ecosystem. Some will be through BP directly and some of it will be through our partners. And then, so if I look at, all of what we are looking, my side of it, some of the other business parts that we do covering digital, how we support our customer and services businesses, how we look after our finance. I mean, we probably going to be, several thousand is where we kind of scaling up to. So I think, rapid journey, but the talent is here. It's supporting us. We are seeing sort of everything moving in a positive direction. So, it's actually encouraging you more than actually worrying you. So it's a great journey.
And any standout example, Molly, where you can think of a technical innovation from here that may have found use cases both locally and at your other global centers?
So to be honest, everything we do here is to serve globally. Yeah. So again, it's immune. Nothing is really designed that when we look at it, because again, we look at it as a hub. Right. And when we have our hub locations are basically to support all of our global businesses. So, for example, one of the things that we are looking at right now is a little bit more in the AI space. Again, where we're looking at how we optimize all our maintenance programs. And so that is something that we're using the teams on the ground here, along with some of our global understanding from across the businesses and our central teams, to be able to sort of bring that together. Now, what that then means for us is then we look at how frequently we will shut down our facilities to be able to do all those equipment maintenance. But it also then looks at, again, from us, a direct cost benefit, because we are then able to, look at how we optimize that, keep our plants' efficiencies high up and running. So things like those are the big innovations that we're looking at. And because we are supporting globally from India, it means we scale up. So we could test on one, and then it works on one. It's easy to then scale across, versus if one location had developed it, we've struggled historically then to get the others to adopt it. This way, global support means then you scale globally much faster.
So it's part of a larger engine that's well-oiled and kind of running with precision. Amazing. Molly, lastly, for young people here in India, tech or otherwise, if they want to get into the GCC space, what is your message to them?
So my message is, I think, there is so much. So one, I think, keep your talent going, right? Because I think, and that energy that you have, I think a lot of what, with the pivot that we're making in the GCC space, it's no longer just about, okay, well, I will be told what to do. It's really about the young people bringing their ideas, keeping up with what's going on across the world, all the technological advances, etc., and putting their voice on the table, right? So their voices in the room at the table is what would really help to make a difference, because I think a lot of the companies now are looking to see how we transform and how we adopt technology. They are born into the technology world, not like me, who is now kind of learning and having to kind of adapt it. It comes at their fingertips from the start. So that's where I think they can really help. But what we want is their ideas versus them waiting to kind of be asked and told what to do.
I think that's a wonderful note to end on. Molly, it's been a pleasure chatting with you today. Thank you so much for taking the time.
It's been really great, and looking forward to doing it again sometime.
Thank you.